All-Star Weekend, NBA All-Star Weekend. First and foremost, shout out to the NBA PA and Chase, Khadijah, the whole team. You guys are amazing. We did an event with the NBA PA. We interviewed Jordan Clarkson, Baron Davis, and
Walker
Kessler. Yeah. Good gentlemen, all of them. Good dudes. So that was cool. Salt Lake City, Utah. And we had some eventful. Shout out to Eastside Golf first and foremost. Those guys are everywhere. They're everywhere we are. That's a fact. But there was some lessons in this situation, just like there always are lessons. We went to a variety of different parties and activations. And it's really important to make sure, I think, that you're putting out the best quality product as possible, because you never know who's watching. And that's something that it sounds cliche, but it's real. So it's like when we go to Chris Paul's party, right? And Chris Paul has the party of All-Star Weekend. You go to Chris Paul's party and you see Chris Paul, you see KD.
Hold on. I gotta stop you because it's an important person you didn't shout out.
Who?
Humble.
Shout out to Humble.
Humble was in the building? Boy.
Humble actually got us in the Chris Paul party. Yeah. And Humble and Chris Paul's brother. Shout out to Humble though. Humble, he's a legend. Humble's actually a legend.
Certified.
Yeah, seriously.
He's actually a legend.
Humble on the show.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's a legend.
We're working on something.
Humble's a legend. So yeah. So we was with Humble. But Chris Paul, KD, Jason Tatum, Carmelo Anthony, Allen Iverson, Dwayne Wade,
Giannis,
you name it. The whole All-Star team was there, right? So it's just crazy to be in. It's a small room with every single player in there. So I knew that Chris Paul followed us. So I was telling Troy, like, we got to see CP3, because we were trying to actually connect with him for a minute. And I knew he followed us. So I knew at the very least he was aware of who we are. And as soon as I said we got to find CP3, I turn around and he's right there.
Hey, guys.
So he like, I say what's up to him. And, sometimes like you say what's up to somebody.
Did you get a chance to say what's up?
Yeah, I said what's up to him. And he was like, what's up? But sometimes it takes a second to actually look at somebody's face and see who they are. So he was like, what's up? Then he looked at me. He was like, oh. He's like, yo, I watch. His first thing he says, I watch everything. He said, I watch everything. He said, fire. Steve Harvey. He said, yo, I watch everything. And then he introduced me to his wife. He like, yo, I'm on it. He's like, I watch everything on YouTube, everything on social media. I watch everything. He's like, I watch everything. So we had a dope conversation, but it's crazy because it's like, I knew that he knew who we was, but I had no idea that he watches every single thing that we put out.
Yeah.
Fast forward to the next day, we go to the boardroom brunch, which is
no, before we left there, because so Dwayne Wade, same thing. What's up? Jason Tatum, same. It was interesting to walk into the space because you never know who knows, right? Like you walk into the space and you're kind of like, maybe some people are familiar, but maybe some people aren't, right? They might have heard the name, but they don't really understand. Jason Tatum walked past and he looked, we eye contact, but he didn't really say anything. And he came back and he stopped, he tapped me, and it was just kind of one of those mutual things, like, yo, bro, I respect it. I respect what y'all do. And I was like, yo, man, you're incredible. I love what you're doing. But even more importantly, what you're doing, having your son and showing Black fatherhood is equally as important as what you're doing on the court. And he was like, yo, keep going. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. That's great, because you just never know. Yeah, that's what it goes back to that point where he's saying, like, yo, listen, make sure that you show up in these rooms, but you show up with value. And I don't know how many times since that monologue of, yo, you never know when you're going to run into the person. So make sure that you have your value add.
Every time.
Yo, every single time. And now people are walking at us and when they say, they're like, yo, I didn't know this was going to be the moment. Like, it's cool. Let's just have a conversation.
It always happens when you least expect it. And that's a good point that Troy did. Troy always has a custom like greeting for everyone he meets, and it's shit's really genuine. This is why,
because I'm studying them. I'm studying them all.
Yes,
I'm telling you, like, official scout team. If I see like your brother or your cousin or your agent or your security, I know you close. I'm like, all right, I bet it's already running my head. This was gonna happen.
Yeah. So then the next day we had the boardroom brunch, and everybody was there as well. So, and I had my son with me the whole weekend. Shout out to Nas.
Which is fire.
So that was dope. So
he had a weekend.
I have him in the boardroom brunch. Shout out to Fab. He actually, so first time we first walked in there, I'm by the bar and I'm with my son, and Fab came over. He's like, yo, what's up, bro? And he's like, it's your son? I'm like, yeah. He's like, yo, what's up? And, Nas kind of gave him like a nonchalant handshake.
Nas don't care about nobody.
Yeah. So Fab, he like, yo, my son the same way. So then he left. And I'm like, yo, why you ain't like say what's up to Fab? He's like, Fabulous? And he's like, that was Fabulous? I'm like, yeah, that was Fabulous. Like, what do you mean?
Oh my God.
So bro, who that sound like? This guy right here, bro.
So later on, and it so we see KD, and shout out to KD, man. It's just some people
KD
just
amazing.
So we see KD, and he's like walking towards me. So I'm about to say what's up to him, but before I got a chance, he put his hand on my shoulder. He was like, yo, respect what y'all doing, man. I love it. And I'm like, yo, we start talking about like what he got going on. He's like, nah, I rock. He's like, I rock with y'all heavy, man. Watch it. I love what y'all doing. Da, 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 da. And this is something that Dame Dash told me early on. There's two type of people in this industry. One type of person, when you ask for the number and they give you the assistance number. The other type of person, when you ask for the number and they give you their own personal
direct number. Yeah.
So I'm like, yo, we got to connect. Da, 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 da. Like, what's the best way to connect the dots? And he was like,
it's a good question. Say it again, please, because that's going.
Yeah,
that's an easy ask.
You never want to assume like, yo, just give me your number. Like, I'm saying? Like, yo, what's the best way to connect the dots? And I'll respect it if they be like, yo, talk to him. All right, cool. Connect the dots like that. But he's like, yo, just take my number. And that's one thing that I respect about him, Diddy,
all
Meek
the real
Mill.
ones.
These are all people that's like, yo, take my number. Now, the key to that is what Drake said. Giving you my number, but don't hit me on no dumb shit. I don't just randomly send good morning texts to people. Like, if I'm not wasting the number, like I'll hit you when it's time to hit you. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not just like, yo, what's up, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna hit you. Yo, this is Rashad from Earn Your Leisure. Just lock me in. So you lock me in. And then it might be 5 months later until I actually hit you. Right? But that's extremely official. Don't hit me on no dumb. That goes for me personally too. If I give you my number, please don't hit me.
Block
just
game
randomly.
Phenomenal.
Don't hit me. No dumb.
It happens too often, bro. Like, yo, what y'all doing tonight? Hey, great meeting you. Would love to connect. Hey, want to do lunch? Hey, how's the family?
And then when you hit somebody, hit them with something. Don't hit them on some like, hey, can we figure out how to work together? That just lets me know.
Send me the project done. Yeah. Let me say this. Don't say, hey, can we get on for a 30-minute technical brainstorming session? Send me the project done. Now, I'm going to say this. This is me. Now, I know humility all out the window. I did not get rich to sit in meetings all fucking day. Send me the project done. Then
you don't have time. You don't have time to sit in a meeting all day. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, I want to pick your brain. Stop saying you want to pick somebody's brain. This is one of the biggest lessons in business. Never tell somebody you want to pick their brain. Never tell somebody you want to brainstorm. Unless it's a real working relationship, like let's say us and Ian, like we can say we got a working relationship.
But even those are short though, right?
Yeah, if you
kill 2 hours.
If you just meet somebody for the first time, never say I want to pick your brain. I want to brainstorm. I'm telling you, it's not gonna. It's a complete turnoff. I'm telling you.
Or if you're pitching your company, you should say, "Hey, this is my company. Consider being an investor. If you put in 100,000, you'll get 700,000."
Yeah. The pick your brain thing, you got to like take this into account. You walk outside, every time you interact with somebody, they want to pick your brain. They want advice. They want you to look at their portfolio. They want to tell you, ask you how you did it, right? And you're going to be receptive to that. Like, that's one of the things we're always going to be receptive to that. So to now have somebody say, let's take this further and pick your brain again on an hour call, when we don't really have the luxury of the time to do that. You can see how it could become extremely overwhelming on this is on a daily basis. So like if you have a very concrete and concise idea, like we spoke to a bunch of people this weekend, they had concrete ideas and I was like, yo, that's interesting. I'd love to hear more about it. Do you have a deck? Can you just send it to us? Send me the deck,
send me the video
and get it over to us. And maybe we can see something we can work in the future. That's more time efficient, right? You have something, send it to us. If it's something that we love or we see how we can help, then that can lead to a potential partnership. But the pick your brain to just drain your energy and your ideas
the pick your brain.
It's tough, man.
Pick your brain thing is crazy.
It's tough.
But not two more things before we finish this conversation. Donovan Mitchell. This also is a very important story to tell.
Oh, he from where y'all from, right?
Yeah. So Donovan. Okay. So shout out to his pops, Big Donovan. He's actually a legend within himself. He used to play for the Mets.
Yeah, he's actually, we saw him yesterday. He's headed to spring training today.
Yeah, he works for the Mets now. He was a great baseball player. So we knew Donovan. So Donovan's from the next town over from us. We're from a town called Greenburgh. He's from a town called Elmsford. It's kind of similar. It's the same neighborhood, but it's kind of like crosstown.
They're a village.
It's crosstown rivalry, but it's still in the same situation. They like our little brothers.
Little brothers.
But Donovan was somebody I'll never forget. When I came home from college, I ran a summer league. Rest in peace to Boston. And
rest in peace.
I ran this 12 and under summer league in the park in the community center. And I'll never forget. And he played, I don't even think he was 12. I think he was like 11 or 10. He was younger than what he was supposed to be playing in. And he had like a size 14 shoe. Like his feet was humongous. And his hands was humongous also. But you could just tell like the kid was like talented and he was gifted. And, we knew his parents. And watching him grow, he didn't go to school in New York. He went to school in Connecticut. But I remember when he signed to Louisville and just watching his growth and progression.
Yeah.
And to see him from the time that I knew him when he was 12 years old to be a starter in the All-Star game, to score 71 points in one game this season, to have his own signature shoe at Adidas. So this is the first time that I actually saw him for in a very long time. We was actually at his draft day. When he got drafted, we was actually
got the video
in the suite with his family when he got drafted.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
So,
I was sitting there like, not because you're all, but we were sitting in that room, and just as a diehard Bulls fan, we had the number 9 pick, and I'm like, yo, Don's there. We got to take Don. And I looked at his pops. I'm like, he was like, not happening. I'm like, they're not taking him? He's like, not going to happen. So I'm like, all right, well, where's he going to fall?
Mistake.
You think?
The Knicks drafted him. I was hoping he'd get drafted by Miami.
The Knicks took Frank Ntilikina.
Yeah, the Knicks missed out. The Knicks missed out on that one. They definitely missed out on that one.
All the picks New York should have had.
Yes.
Steph and him, bro. Anyway.
They missed out on that one. But to see him now with a signature shoe, $200 million contract, and just still the same person that I remember. Like, he's like, yo, it's great to see y'all. Just that warm embrace was super dope. And that was a dope moment for me to see somebody come from that full circle. Mm-hmm. I'm happy. I'm proud for him. And I think everybody should be proud. Like, you should be proud of other people's successes. You shouldn't take other people's successes as a threat. Another person's success is not a threat to your success. That's what people have to understand. A lot of times they like, all right, the odds of making it is 1 in a million. So if we come from a very small town where nobody has ever made it, if one person makes it to the NBA, then nobody has a chance to be successful in life because he takes the slot. He takes the lottery slot. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's not true. And you can see that just from us. Like, his success has nothing to do with our success. It's not like he made it, so now the faucet is cut off and nobody else is ever going to make it for another 100 years.
Yeah, I just want to add to that because, I mean, prior to him even playing in that, the 12-year-old, I remember when he was like 7 years old. So his dad was a basketball coach at the rival high school that we went at. So we knew him pretty closely. Shout out to Hose and the Hose family. That's his uncle, his godfather. So we known him since he's like a kid. When we got to that Adidas event, before we took that picture, that moment that we have on IG, we walked into each other and I looked at him and he was like, yo, it's been a long time. And I'm like, yo, I'm so proud of you. But bigger than us, man, for our community, right? That picture when we're together and I'm like waving to his mom, it means a lot. Like you said, like this is a young man who's done it in athletics, but we've done it in a different route. Right. And so it shows the dynamics of what we can do from a small place. Right. Like our town is not that big. It's not a big town. But to see people from the same area have success in different asset classes, right, different forms of business, to be in one moment, to capture that is like, yo, that means a lot to our community. Yeah. And in that room, let me tell you something, man. In that room, there are stars in that room. Mm-hmm. But Donovan was the star of stars. Like you saw the cameras found. And we're not going to say names, but there's all-stars in there. There's Hall of Fame talent in there. There's Adidas execs in there.
Yeah.
And when he moved, the room moved.
Gotcha.
I'm like, so you know what I mean? Like, it's not many times you see somebody through the progressions of life. You see them as a child, as a young man, as an adult, and now as a superstar. It's crazy to see the evolution, man. So the only thing I could think of, like, yo, super proud of him. Now, I know we're going to go to something, but remember the Adidas conversation we had last week, right? Y'all remember?
Yep.
I'm sure y'all remember. I want y'all to keep that in the back of your mind.
What the number gonna look like?
Oh yeah, we spoke to some people at Adidas. They gave us some commentary.
They watching too.
Hello to everyone at Adidas.
Shout out to Adidas.
Shout out to the James Harden collection.
Okay, the last thing I'll say about this weekend.
We're gonna leave Rich Paul out. We'll say that for another time. We gotta say that for another time.
Next week, let's do it at the studio. Let's do it at the studio. Let's do it at the studio. No.
We gotta have a separate whole situation. Damn, it'd be so much to talk about, man. It's so much to talk about. Rich Paul, that's an hour-long conversation.
Market money's bonus.
Rich Paul is a legend. Rich Paul is a legend. Let's just leave it at that. Rich Paul, we had a 2-hour conversation.
Then the other ones y'all had. So this is how many hours y'all got?
No. This wasn't an interview. This was like.
Yeah.
This is off the record.
Oh, okay.
This is Rich.
Those be the ones.
Shout out to Dell. Shout out to Elijah.
Yo.
Shout out to Georgia.
Me, Troy, Rich, Dell, and Elijah. If you know, you know.
You know.
That was like 5 o'clock in the morning on the corner. Rich Paul he's classic.
Can you give the audience one big lesson that you learned from this amazing conversation on the corner for the people?
Your friends are extremely valuable. Your friends are extremely valuable.
That's it.
Rich Paul.
Give him the line. Just give him the line.
I can't give him the line because that's giving too much.
All right.
But your friends are extremely valuable. And he drilled that down to us. He's been able to make great connections with a lot of, very influential, rich, and powerful people. He's been able to, maneuver his way through the industry. Your friends are extremely important.
I'll add this other lesson from him. He's thinking 10 to 20 years down the line.
Mm-hmm. As he
at
should
all
be.
times. At all times. So whatever you see him in, and the things trust me, he's thinking like, all right, 10 years, what does this look like?
And don't call him a sports agent. Calling him a sports agent is the equivalent to calling us podcasters. It's disrespectful.
Yeah. So shout out to him. Shout out to Clutch Athletics. They just launched a new athletic line. So shout out to them.
This is the last story.
The whole team.
This is the last story. So we're at dinner yesterday. Shout out to Dion from Revolt, my brother. We are when this one drops, nothing will ever be the same. I can't speak too much on that. But shout out to Dion, shout out to Jex. We was at dinner yesterday, and we having a great conversation for about a couple of hours, and then we look at the private room next to us, and then we see Fab, and we have been running into Fab all weekend. So I was like, oh, Fab, what up? Then I seen Rich Player. Shout out to Rich Player. That's Fat Joe's manager. Then we see Fat Joe. So I'm like, I got to say what's up to Fat Joe. That's our guy. So we go in, we say what's up to Fat Joe. Mind you, we only want in there to say what's up to him. Maybe have a 2 hours later.
You guys are everywhere.
2 hours later.
Joe, the most loving person ever.
I want the audience to understand the first thing he says. Yo, what are y'all? Yo, y'all really y'all gotta explain this to me.
Can I
gotta explain it.
Let me say it. So
what's happening?
So let me go. So we say what's up to Fab, say what's up to Rich, say what's up to Joe, and Joe's sitting in a chair, and he looks, and he's like, yo, what's really going on with y'all? Like, what's really going on with y'all? I'm like, he's like, no. Like, what's really going on with you? He's like, he's like, you're running up on me in the Grammys, you're in Davos. He's like, what's happening here? What's happening?
It's like, so he said, he had the music mind. He said, yo, are y'all promoting something? Like, is something coming out? Like, what is, like, yo, y'all got a line y'all about to drop? Like, yo, just tell me what it is.
This is par for the course. Yeah.
And I'm telling him, like, yo, we're everywhere you are because we're everywhere business is.
He's like, nah, see, me and Fab, we out here, we performing. Like, what are you doing? He's like, what is going on? Like, what's happening? And so Fab, like, I be seeing them everywhere. Might be seeing them everywhere. So this turned into a 2-hour conversation, a passionate debate about rap music, a passionate debate about LeBron versus Jordan, a passionate debate about boxing, a passionate debate about
the top 50 list.
Yo, Fat Joe is this guy. Everything that you see, like, that is him and 10 times more. This guy is the ultimate personality. He's the ultimate personality,
he's an entertainer,
storyteller. This was probably one of the most classic conversations that we've ever had in history.
Super knowledgeable. And every area we just spoke about, he is, you want to talk basketball?
Yeah.
Super knowledgeable. Super knowledgeable. Obviously music, super knowledgeable. But then he's telling us like, yo, I get it, but nah, y'all keeping something from Joe Crack. Like, y'all keeping something. Y'all don't want to tell Fat Joe something, man. And I'm really sorry to take
inquisitive.
He's like, nah, you're not telling me the whole story. Shout out to Fat Joe, man. 2-hour conversation.
He cool.
Fat real quick. Adam do something for the soundtrack last year. He's like, make this make sense. You want to put out sound for what? I was like, oh, the promotional thing. He's like, no one's coming to do music. Everyone's leaving music. Like, he's hella inquisitive. And, Joe, one of my favorites, when Pac went to jail, he, shout out Muta. Joe sent some protection for Pac when he was like, Joe, a solid person. But he also was like, yo, navigate this industry right. Get in, get out, because you don't want to get stuck. But he's hell and funny as hell.
Joe,
super down to earth. So
Joe, at the end, he was like, I'm telling y'all, he's like, he always tells us street stories and different. He's like, I'm not none of these rappers. He's like, yo, I'm not none of these rappers.
Like, he ain't nothing to play with.
He's not. No, he's not. He really isn't.
Shout out to Joe, man. That dude is one of the funniest people ever. And shout out to Fab, man. Fab is one of the coolest people ever. Like, he's really that type of person in real life. He's like, yo, y'all doing a seminar? Are y'all got a seminar going?
Yo, we see him all the time, bro. I promise, we see him all the time. And this is the first time he was, because we like, yo, maybe he just didn't remember doing InvestFest. But last night he was just like, yo, is it a seminar y'all doing? Because I remember I did your first joint.
The first joint,
like a couple of years.
He's like, but it got a lot bigger since.
And I just keep seeing y'all.
Yeah,
like we see him.
It's a good
we
lesson.
See him at the most random place. Like
we see
him at 3 bowling alleys already.
Oh wow!
Shout out to Fab, man. Fab is
a good. New York, what up?
Good lesson for entrepreneurs. The promo does not stop. Don't go on and go off. Promo has to stay on. You're doing world tour. Took Mass right to Mexico. Let me go see what these shows looking like in other parts of the country and see. Promo does not stop. Even there, I'm like getting stopped, getting noticed. I'm like, I got to turn up this heat internationally, especially if you're seeing the dispersion of what's happening in other countries. Like, everyone, put what your dream is in chat. We're getting a chance to live ours, and I will hope that you will experience part of it with us in LA at Novo Theater. Please get your tickets to Market Mondays Live. 10 new tips on trading I never talked about, 10 new ones on swing trading. I'm even going to cover how to build up a small account with futures. And if I've made you money, please put yes in chat. Back to you guys.
Put yes in chat.
CA family, like, I like your delivery. You're getting better. You just got to focus. No attitude, okay? They even gave me the category breakdowns. They're like, media likes this kind of black guy for this amount. I was like, oh, y'all give me a little boost for okay, I'm going to chill. Chill. Run it up, the media trader.
Oh man, what a life.
My graduates from my school being Forbes, bag drop,
a mic drop,
bag drop.